ECB.
I got you. I'm calling the meeting to order. So I wanted to introduce everybody to Mike Warner first, by the way. He's going to be our new zoning
Mike.
officer. So he will be attending and probably running some of our ACB meetings in the future, because I think Miss Shauna might be going in other directions in the new year at some point, now that we are lucky enough to have Mike with us. So
I'm not leaving. I'm just, this meeting is just one of many, and I'm trying to kind of free up my schedule a little bit. So
she's giving Mike the nicest one.
I'm giving Mike my favorite one.
She says that to all the committees.
That is not true.
Let's stand up and see if Mike knows the Pledge of Allegiance. We can have Mike read it. Hopefully.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Mike. You've passed the first ECB committee.
Excellent.
Zoom etiquette reminders. I think Sean is familiar with those. Do we have any? Oh, Gary's online too. Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Also one of our committee members as well. So good to see you, Gary. So Justin is let us know he needed to be absent today. So
These are all the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
okay. Anybody privileged to the floor want to chat, or we're good for now? Okay, Shauna, report from the development office. Or Mike.
Well, I also want to welcome Mike, who's off to a great start. So thank you, Mike, for taking a chance on us. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, and updates from the development office. Well, we are very busy. We're very, very busy. We've got just multiple applications, and but we're excited about Cloud Permit. That's the new software that's going to be coming on board at some point very soon, and we're and I'm working a working mom. So here's Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
All right. So that's all I have to report for now.
I saw you had at least over 100 applications for the CPNs this year.
We did. I think we hit, Kim, did we hit 106?
107, I think.
107. Mm-hmm.
107.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We're
That's-
hopping community.
That's good for you. Thanks for all your work on that. I don't have any unique referrals from the town board at this point. Just if everyone is aware, they're having a large discussion about the short-term rentals on Monday at 9 in the ordinance committee. So those have been great discussions. I recommend zooming in or stopping in if you're interested. So and you should definitely hang out at that meeting too, by the way. I'm sure Shauna's probably let you know. So, but anything Pat CIC related at all?
I don't even remember. I think our last
They
CIC didn't
canceled them.
happen
Yeah,
because of the holiday.
that's what I thought too. And was
Yeah.
there one this week, earlier this week?
No, we have one on the 17th.
17th,
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. So nothing from CIC right now.
And ultimately, I will invite Mike. I just didn't want to overwhelm him.
For CIC, you're saying? Yeah.
For ordinance.
Oh, for ordinance. Well, I'm inviting him anyway. It's going to be a heck of a meeting. And
That's
it's,
actually, it is going to be a good one.
yeah, so it's 9 a.m. on Monday. It'll be down here. So it's a great group of people. And even if you just want to hang out and observe, you'd be very welcome at it. So good discussions in that group. So, okay. Oh, John, come on in. Oh, sorry, we closed. Come on over here. We closed the door for because it gets loud with the.
Okay.
It gets loud with the
Oh, there you go.
Traffic.
Can I get back
Yeah.
in the
The
elevator
court,
and out the
so-
front door?
yes, the elevator will. You can always get in the elevator, so everything else locks up. This is John Casey,
evening.
everybody. If
Hi,
everybody
John.
hasn't met
Hi,
John,
John.
he's our
Hi.
newest town board member. So I think this is your first official town board activity. It is,
I
isn't
don't know
it?
if it is or not.
I think it is, because
Could be.
did you do anything between your swearing in and now?
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
Other
honored.
than signing all kinds of papers.
So this is John's first official town board member meeting, so very exciting. So.
Is the annual report on the agenda? I know Shauna,
It
you sent
is.
it out.
Yes,
It is, okay, okay.
So we're gonna be doing that after the referrals
All
from
right.
the PRC, so I think we have it. Yeah, it's number 4 under new business, Gary, so. All right, so if you missed our privilege of the floor, did you have anything you want to say?
No.
Okay, great.
Listen.
Okay, so we're gonna go dive right into the PRC referrals if everybody's ready for that. So I was just inviting them all to the ordinance on Monday, by the way. So, and have you two met yet?
No.
How you doing? I'm Mike
This-
Warner.
John,
Zoning
Casey,
officer.
he's our new
Nice to meet
zoning
you.
officer, so having him meet all the town board members at once, so. And he likes Italian food, just so you know.
I do as well. Too much.
I hope it's okay to say that. as part of the
Absolutely.
Public record.
That's fine now.
Yeah, you are.
That's
you're-
right.
You're being recorded.
I've outed your food preferences. Okay, are we good, Kimberly, on to open up the 81 there?
Yep.
Shauna, anything for the good of the order from your perspective on this one, the CPN?
Yeah, so this is the Millers. They own quite a bit of land around, a lot on Hickox. And they are subdividing off a small piece for their granddaughter. The 7.887 acres is going to be for her, off of a larger parent parcel. And right now, there's no development proposed on that lot. But once there are many constraints, and I've been told that she intends to put the house on, a small area that has no issues, which would be, let's see,
You can reduce the.
you
size.
can kind of see it near the tree line.
Mhm, mhm.
So west of the tree line, there's kind of a flatter area. But again, not something that we're worried about at this point because we don't have a site plan for it.
Drag around the edge and do it.
Shauna, did anything different come in? I don't think it has since we reviewed this in December.
Yeah, I thought.
Nothing new has come in. We wanted a meets and bounds survey, but they asked for a waiver and that the parcel is so big and it is expensive to get that size parcel surveyed. So the only thing that came in was a waiver request for that.
Okay. Anybody thoughts?
I have no new
I have
comments.
No.
If they actually put the house where they plan to, that's certainly the best location.
Yeah, which we'll have to look at when that
So
comes in.
one day they'll come in with the site plan.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
okay, so nobody has any opposition to the subdivision.
So far,
Okay,
so good.
all right, next is 86 and 89. I don't, Kimberly, you'd probably know which one has more information. So I had a note before that this was incomplete before, and it was missing existing conditions, the garage elevations and the contours. I don't know if that's what everyone else's recollection was on this one. This is on Sandy Beach Drive where the garage is split from the house.
Yeah.
I would.
Can you scroll down, Kim?
And
So
probably already have heard about Sandy Beach, and it's very.
it's constrained.
Mhm.
We get a lot of applications for Sandy Beach, and
We do,
none of
we
them
do.
are ever meeting what they're supposed to be meeting. So.
We did receive an updated plan. They reconfigured things. So they were just going to add on to the garage. They've decided to put a whole new garage in, as you can see on the plan. We still have a few questions logistically where we're recommending that they take some of this concrete out. They haven't done that yet or showed it. Is this a Marks or is this a Venenzia plan? I
This
can't.
is Mark's.
Mark's.
Okay, okay. So, it's fairly straightforward what they are asking to do, but it's that standard Sandy Beach issue we always have, where the lots are small and they need multiple variances.
What concrete were they going to remove? There's a big concrete patio next to the lake. Is that something they were going to get rid of? to
No, they
increase
were
the
not.
coverage? Oh.
No, they were not. We talked to them about some of the walkways, and we have not heard back about their proposals or their intent rather. And sometimes that will come up at the actual zoning board meeting, you know, when they work with the board, and I think that they're asking for 3, I believe, 3 variances. Or maybe just 1. There is one that has 3, and maybe that's Elverman. Yeah. Yeah, this one is just lot coverage. It's not as substantial as the next one.
What, do we know what their lot coverage is? Is it
Yeah,
indicated?
it will say, just a second.
Yeah, it's in the table.
Yeah,
I just have to
get it large enough that we can actually read what it
move
says.
the other things around so I can get to that.
Eric, can you read that?
You just need to shift it over. You can't see it. There you go.
I just had to move things so I could get. to-
Yeah,
Okay,
so 6% ish.
wow.
I would really suggest they take out concrete or reduce their plans to stay within the limits.
Right, this is one where we did suggest that you're so close, just work with us and, you know, figure something out. But again, we haven't heard back from them.
Lend them
I,
a jackhammer.
yeah. I did not see any landscaping plans from them either. So we really want to see those.
Did they submit the existing conditions and the contours as well? That we had asked for?
The existing conditions is about, I keep scrolling like I can actually move the screen. You can see the existing, yeah, it's the first sheet 1.
So they did update that. then.
Yes, yeah.
And
The contours I think are irrelevant in that, not irrelevant, but it's
Yeah, it's,
Okay, even across the street, it's still flat over there.
yes, it is. But you are really close to the lake.
Mhm, yes, yes, I know that.
The house is between the garage and the lake.
Yeah,
So Gary and I went out to see it. I think we recommended that whatever short little driveway there is, ideally would be made in the Forest Service
mhm,
to make up for the slightly expanded footprint. That's minimal to the owners. It's not much of a driveway. It's just a.
yeah, it's that
connecting
little bit
piece.
right in front there, right, yeah. It's too bad they couldn't do something with the patio between the house and the lake. And put some sort of riparian zone in there. That would be
Or even
helpful.
change the idea of their walkway.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think we talked about that at the last meeting, didn't we?
Because I mean, there's other ways that could reduce that.
Okay, so do we feel that this was complete enough to be able to review it at this time? Or do we want to let them know we want more information, or are we happy with where it is now?
I'm fine with it. It's-
Okay,
To look at the existing garage, it's in pretty rough shape.
yeah.
I didn't see any pooling water around it.
Mhm,
The land is just absolutely pancake flat.
mhm.
Yeah, I don't know, I've not seen the inside of the garage. I can't determine how safe or unsafe it may be,
Mhm.
but it's certainly not a functional or attractive garage.
Yeah,
So
So replace
Well, I
It's
don't,
not-
yeah, I don't think we're concerned about whether they need to replace it or not. That's,
Yeah.
that's not, that's. Yes, I think that efforts to reduce the impervious surface, certainly we want to maintain those recommendations, I would think.
okay, given the sensitive
Yes,
location.
because it is very close to the lake. not to mention cheek by jowl with neighbors.
Yeah.
A lot of
So we-
impervious already down there.
So we would recommend that it only be approved if
Yes,
they
that
reduce the
make
amount
every
of
effort to
surface.
May I
Lot
make a
coverage.
comment or?
Of course, you're welcome.
It would be helpful if the ECB could make a recommendation to the ordinance committee emphasizing your acceptance or your push for pervious surfaces to be implemented and used. There is some reluctance on the part of the ordinance committee to accept pervious surfaces as an alternative in any way, shape, or form, because they think it is more for the benefit of the homeowner who wants to build a larger structure on the lot than is permissible. And I see this as an example where the property owner could help the town by creating permeable surfaces. And I think that there ought to be some benefit for the town in that regard. And this comes up a lot, both at the ordinance committee as well as the zoning board of appeals, because as a past zoning board of appeals member, we used to read these, at least I did. And I would see time and time again where the ECB would recommend pervious surfaces as a means to lessen the
Lot coverage.
lot coverage issue or building coverage issue. And I think if the ordinance committee heard some views from the ECB positive and the use of pavers, I think it would carry some weight.
Might make sense too if we could also more clearly define what we mean by pervious surfaces.
Well,
So that might be something.
And it
we
always
could
comes
do.
up as a maintenance issue.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
yes,
Yeah,
every time.
that's
You
what
know,
I was just
I
gonna.
think that you can't, in my opinion, punish good intent because there is some bad apples in the crate that might not perform the property maintenance that is asked of them. But I think that's true of a lot of ordinances, not just permeable surfaces. So
Yeah,
um,
that's true. And practically anything needs maintenance.
yes,
Yeah.
Even impervious surfaces
Yeah,
have
that's
to
right.
be
Driveways
maintained.
need
driveways
Yes.
gotta be
sealing every
cleaned,
year,
they gotta be
It's-
sealed,
they
they
do,
gotta be,
yes.
you know, I mean, yeah, the
It's
list
not
goes
a
on and on. I mean,
It's not a-
vehicles and driveways,
Right,
you know, it just,
Right.
yeah, we hear it all. So that's just
yes.
FYI, I bring
I
that
think-
up.
I think
It's a
that's
very
an
good
excellent
suggestion, yeah.
idea.
So how do you want to do that? We want to, maybe next meeting, can we put on the
We
agenda?
can,
Okay.
The wording of it.
Yes, and I think we should offer some examples of it so they can see what it looks like on the ground. Because
And-
there are
and maybe we
more
could-
than one type and.
If anybody who's knowledgeable, Edith Davies, would like to
Yes,
get
I will
some
do
some
that.
suggestions
I will.
on what makes sense for
Yes.
the best choices and
Yes. I
and
can
pluses
do
and
that.
minuses of different surfaces, so
Yes.
that we can, that might make sense to even have an ordinance that's, you know, related to
I would
at
suggest.
least
we-
defining what we would consider pervious surfaces and what the preferred ones would be.
Be a good first
So,
step.
Yeah.
And
I-
even some.
Yes.
I was gonna say, we should reach out to Kevin Hovini. He had some real
Mhm, yeah.
particular
He
thoughts on
did, yeah.
this.
There are several different kinds and different applications.
His big concern is maintenance
Yes.
and people that pave over them after it's in. So they
Yes.
kind of,
There's an
Yes.
excellent
Un-
example of
undo
that at the
things.
VA that I looked at with Kevin actually this summer, so, yeah. If anyone goes in the VA and you can look right next to East Street, there's a parking lot there with a pervious surface that is not functioning, so. So if you want to see what doesn't work. That's
Short list of the pros
it.
and
So,
cons
Oh,
For
I
folks that
will,
are not, familiar, I mean, they
start in,
don't
yes.
expand and contract as
Mhm.
much.
Yeah.
They're much more forgiving of the heat tolerances.
mm,
Mhm.
It's good to know.
And that close to the lake, every effort should be made to let water infiltrate instead of run off.
Exactly.
And that's a great
That's
point. It
bottom
really
line.
shouldn't be seen as an offset of any kind.
Mhm.
It should be seen as a positive good in its own right,
Mhm, mhm.
not a trade-off.
Mhm.
Oh, great. So thank you for bringing that up. So we'll definitely have a larger discussion on that then next month. So back to 86 and 89. Are we good then? We just want to indicate we would like them to stand by the lot coverage.
Forget what I said earlier. Did I say anything about this? It's been a long day already.
Yeah, it has.
86, 89, Chris Jensen's comments suggested that there was a possible violation of their 2020 plan because the driveway looked larger.
Hmm, okay.
So they would need to address that before.
Okay. We'll put that in the recommendations too then. Well, that makes sense why the driveway is so large. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else on that one?
No, just landscaping.
Mhm, yeah.
Yes, the landscaping should be.
Outlined.
Drains away from the garage walls, the back of it.
Well, there are different plants that you can put in that will absorb water as it's running off, and you always, of course, try to advocate for native species if you can, because habitat is important, even if it's this one.
Okay, let's move on then to 87, 88. Which is 3473 Lakeview Lane, which I had to look up where that is. That's right in by Westlake Boulevard and Adams, all that stuff. Across from the yacht club there. There were some Chris Jensen comments from from December 27th, which I think were the most recent ones that I saw on this, that if I remember correctly, if you could open them, I think they indicated that something was incomplete on this one.
Yes, that's absolutely right. We can't really make a good determination with this one. So I would recommend that the ECB kind of mirror our comments, and that this is just not ready for review.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, then I would happily agree with that, and if no one else is opposed to that.
Nope, I would agree.
Okay. All right, we're just rocking through these. 93 is the next one. The CPI.
Right, and with that 93, I think I noticed should be, I think we should push that to February, because if you want, and that it's for the February ZBA meeting.
Oh, so will we have we got our meeting before the CBA? Yeah. I think
Wait,
our
why,
meeting-
hold on a second, maybe it's, Kim, did we, no, is this just the wrong date for 93? Did we push this to February?
I don't know. The PRC dates were all over.
They were all over the place.
Some were in February, some were in January, but the referrals still went out.
Okay. I mean, the board is welcome to look at this. There is an issue with the driveway. If you want to pull up the parcel, I can explain what's going on here.
You want the map or Encore?
Let's do Encore. That would be better. So this gentleman came into us probably over a year ago asking about this parcel. And if he should buy it, which we obviously don't make recommendations, but we did show him the many constraints that would be associated with building. One is wetlands, 2 is a stream. I believe there's some steep slopes. But the big one was access to the park.
Access to what?
To the access to how to get back to the piece. It's a funny little piece off of Middle Cheshire.
I know it because my dad actually used to own part of this.
Okay.
Interestingly enough.
Gary,
All right, so there it is. And it's
Oh, you
very
were going
narrow. What's
Did you go up the drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's narrow, obviously, at the road. There is a DEC wetland that needs to be crossed. There is a designated stream that needs to be crossed. And we did determine that proximity to stream, we have a provision in the code that says if there's only one way basically onto the parcel, then, you know, we can, because of those circumstances, the driveway could be closer to the stream. The structures to cross or to put a culvert in, it's okay because that's the only reasonable access to get there. So the only variance then at that point would be driveway setback. It has to be 10 feet from the parcel line, and that's not going to happen. So this site, when you can see it, it's I mean, he wants to put the house way up at the top, to the top west, basically. So, you know, it can be developed, but there's just some challenges.
Eric and I toured it. Maybe he can give you a thumbnail of what we found.
Yeah, the stream is really difficult to ascertain. And Gary, I believe that the streams seem to be a bit more to the north or the northeast than it looks on Encore. The stream really bordered, it looked to us to border the adjacent parcel. And it is a trickle. I'd say it's a year-round trickle. Doesn't carry much water. Of course, everything's saturated now, so you think this probably would be peak flow time. It really wasn't much, and it does go under a culvert, or through a culvert under the road.
It's just
There
swampy down
seems to be
there.
enough room for a driveway without interfering with the stream. Another suggestion, maybe it's kind of a radical one, is it possible, and I don't know, is it possible for that owner to share the
Yeah,
existing driveway, or does that get into legal?
yeah.
There are some, no, that would not happen with the current owner of that piece.
That would be ideal if they could share.
I think
Yeah.
it's a
First 30.
subdivision, right? Because I believe those parcels, when my dad owned them, it was 100 acres, and
Yeah.
I think that was all one group. So I don't know why we subdivided it like that, but
There is a home up the slope,
yeah.
in the size of a lot that borders it.
Yeah.
But we put our muckety muck boots on and walked all through the parcel. It is gonna be a challenge. Yeah,
It's mucky
it's
to the bottom of the hill, kind of. So
we went all the way up, and the slope is steep in place and very uneven. Some of the brush has already been cut to make little trails to begin the construction process. It's not ideal. I didn't see any standing water outside of the pond, of course, but the house is going to be well away from the pond, the existing pond. It was just really odd that, you know, there's no site plan, so I couldn't see exactly where the stream is in relation to the proposed driveway, but it seemed different than what I'm seeing.
Kim, can you pull up that wetland map, the DEC wetland map? Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty extensive area. That's this in the green, and then you see the stream in the blue. But clearly that's what we were hiking through.
in the muck boots.
The trees are immature. There's some nice looking hickory tree. We were surprised by how many there were actually, and you would hope that those can be preserved as much as possible. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is this the kind of project you ask a hydrologist to weigh in on, or that's something that their engineer, I guess, will have to tackle?
So this is just the variance for the driveway at this point. We don't have the full plan.
There is a site plan. I'm not sure why, Eric, there is. one.
Okay, I looked on the project page and then maybe I was there and I didn't see it, but. There.
Kim knows where to find everything instantly now.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
we do not.
Okay.
Oh, it's over
It's early
there.
In the morning.
Okay.
That's the pond.
Oh, that's the
That's
pond.
the-
Okay. Obviously must be a man-made pond. Oh, it's over
Square.
there. Okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah, it's where it's not-
are those contour lines? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So they're gonna build it up.
There's going to, yeah, have to be a lot of fill brought in, was our impression, to construct that driveway. What, are there setbacks from wetland, I assume?
100 feet.
Okay,
Hmm.
beyond that.
Okay. Do we have the landscape plan as well?
Don't believe they have one.
I don't think there is one.
No,
I think that with the nature of that lot, it's really not,
You're not planning to add?
yeah, I would say.
Just wondering if they should plant some weeping willows in the middle there or something.
or native willows.
Yeah. Oh, weepings aren't native?
No, no,
Okay, native willows, sorry.
that's okay. Pussy willow
I'm
are native.
exposing myself again.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, we could suggest native plants and trees in their landscaping.
and really, really, really good soil erosion control for the construction equipment.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other comments on this one or concerns? So native species, soil erosion control. What else am I hearing? Anything else that we want to pass up? It's cited in the right spot, it looks like,
Yes, it looks like they've chosen the best spot for the house. It's-
which is
I
nice.
don't think there's too many other places for the house.
There's hardly any place else you could put it, but if they're going to have to import soils, there's gonna be a lot of truck traffic up that driveway.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
everything's-
if it's wet soils, that's,
It's a wet driveway.
yes, that's going to be tough.
Is it gravel now, the driveway? Is it existing yet, or is it the other one? That's the other
That's the other
property?
one. The other
Yeah,
one's,
so there's no existing gravel or
No.
anything at this point.
And
Okay,
the other one's all blacktop.
yeah,
Very thin.
it used to be gravel, so
Okay,
worked on that a while ago.
should be permeable.
That's a
And
long
I
one.
saw they had the
It's
little
okay.
pull-off spots for emergency vehicles. 'cause
Yeah, I
this is
saw
a
those in there, yeah.
Super
This is
long
really-
one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
Well, if it's wet, the heavy equipment is really hard on wet soils. It's just, they really need to be careful with that.
And that area is boggy. You know, again, I didn't see any outside of the pond, water that looked like be permanently standing water. But this time of year with everything saturated and
mhm,
probably some of the ground still frozen underneath perhaps,
yeah,
it was like a bog.
yeah. So is my yard right now. This might be really weird question to ask, but, and I don't know if anybody's ever brought it up before, but does it make sense to maybe do the driveway first?
You would have to.
Yeah, that's not a weird question at all.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the first thing. that
Yeah, if they
happens.
pave,
They
so can we make a
a-
recommendation that they pave the
substan-
driveway first before
Well,
bringing
I
in their
don't think
It'd be
fill?
gravel.
probably.
It'd be gravel.
It'd be gravel.
Okay.
It's okay. They need probably to have a constructed
Yeah,
driveway, you
Mhm.
know, ground cloth and
Yeah.
and gravel on the top, not just.
that's what I'm saying, like, I mean, I don't know if
It's-
that's a recommendation we
It's gotta
can
be a
make.
really
but-
well-constructed driveway for wet soils.
Even
or else you're
raised.
going to, yeah.
bed.
And they need to
Driveway.
look at the drainage
Yeah.
of the driveway.
Mhm. We'll tell them to call Edith.
No, don't do that. But they do have to have drainage for the driveway,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
The engineer knows that, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
But we want to make sure he
We wanna
knows
make sure
that
he knows
we're
that we
aware of
know.
it. Yes.
Yeah, we're on the mark here, huh?
Yeah, it's a challenging site.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
all right, are we good to move to the next one? Just, I forgot to mention earlier, I have a hard stop at 5:45 for me. And our friend Shauna said she could maybe cover me after that point if we're still going at that point, but I just wanted to let you guys know, so. All right, so the next one is 99. That's the Center Point Apartments, and I think it was the revised tree planting that was the newest thing for us to really take a peek. at.
Yes.
I
Revised
got to
plan.
zoom in
We have this
on
big
the
table here.
on the huge table. There were some, to my untrained brain, some non-natives it looked like on there, which if I'm right, I'm really
Wow,
pat
Adeline.
on the back. But you know, I figure when something's called Japanese this or something, that it might not be a native. So I'm really excited about that.
Congratulations.
Now I will add weeping willows to the evil non-native list, so, but
I might not say
They are
that.
really good at.
It was-
absorbing
yeah, there
water,
it is.
however.
yes, that's why I have one.
I did go through their,
Oh, my goodness. look at
Yeah,
that.
that's
I
it.
did
It's
go
so
through all
small.
of that, or at least most all of that. There were a couple that I made suggestions to replace.
Okay, you did already.
Yeah,
Great.
Okay, great.
They also have a really good PowerPoint that
Oh, okay.
details their changes.
Oh, that's nice.
is that in the,
Yeah, it's in, if it's not there, it's on the M drive. Oh, Centerpoint, no, right there. Centerpoint PB slides.
Oh, I didn't know that's what that was. I thought that
Yeah,
was special for the planning board.
I believe, yeah, this is like really pretty.
Uh,
You'll see if you scroll down.
Yeah.
There's spacing issues. It just details what happened and basically, and this is, Mike was working on this today. This is kind of a big project. So in doing the zoning determination, but you can see the difference between the approved and their proposed plan.
Okay.
And Sue Steele she's great. I thought she did a really good job summarizing things.
What's the backstory with this
Comments too,
development?
definitely.
These are rental properties or townhomes for sale? Or what's
These
gonna
are
be?
rental, these are high end. So it's the phase 3 of Centerpoint, high end apartments. High end, i.e. high rent, higher rent.
Oh, so they're not just market rate, like is the rest of Centerpoint's market rate, right?
It is, but these are not. These are gonna be
Oh,
more
okay.
expensive.
Okay.
yeah, I have the list of information. There were a few species that were noted by different organizations as being invasive in some other locations like New Jersey.
Mhm.
But I mean, things like that are close enough to us that we should consider that as a possible replacement, so.
Okay.
There's, I think, 3 different ones that I made a suggestion to substitute. So,
Okay.
Good, great, thank you.
Was there anything else that we need to look at on this one? Kim, Shauna, anybody?
I don't think so.
Street plan.
I only
You?
looked at the plans.
Are you good?
I'm good. Anybody have any other comments for the good of the order? All right, cool. The ECB page on the town newsletter is our next one in old business there. I think we had, we did the Christmas tree one and I saw your boat one. Did that go out? You did, yeah. So.
It's supposed to be in by January.
Yeah,
But I was kind of panicking last week, thinking I had to get it in before the new year.
yeah, because January.
Yeah.
So,
So it's electric boats.
Yes.
And I forgot to send it to you, Eric.
Oh, I
did
found
send it. You did find it? I just kind of did a generic
Mhm, yeah, it was
search.
good.
I was trying to get with a,
Just bringing up the topic, so people
yeah,
are
just
aware.
kind of, starting a conversation about it and
Mhm.
keeping it more lower key and
Um,
some general benefits of electric boating, and electric outboard motors and
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
So the geothermal article, I think, so we talked before about having a nice discussion about geothermal with the NYSERDA gentleman. And we have been talking in planning public works. I think we want to delay that actually until maybe the summertime, because we're going to be having a large public communication period about CCA, the community aggregate, what is it? Community sourced. Well, it's basically, do you remember
The
what CCA
power.
is? Yeah, it's the power. It's community coming together and we buy power as a community. So currently the town
Oh,
board's
okay.
exploring the CCA.
Mhm.
Community source or something, I don't remember. Anyway, they're gonna be having a big discussion about public awareness, so more people know what the definition is. And we're gonna all buy, it's a potential opportunity the town board's gonna be exploring, along with all of the constituents, about purchasing power as one large group in the town, and it's something that you would have to opt out of. So
Hmm.
that may or may not happen, but there's gonna be a big education period until April, May-ish on that. And we don't want that to get confused with the geothermal, because they're both about ways to heat and support the utilities in your home. So I do think we should do something with geothermal and NYSERDA, but maybe wait till August, July, something like that.
Mhm.
Just so the two of them don't get confused. And I don't know if that means changing when we do that article, or I see we don't have anything down for February.
February was Megan, but
Oh, that was
Yes,
Megan. What was she gonna do it on?
she was gonna do it on environmental and pet safe salt
Kind of
alternatives.
salting.
Oh, okay. Anybody have anything else that makes sense for February that they'd be interested in? Or I mean, the same article would be welcome too, I would think, but
We should probably keep it in a winter-ish theme.
yeah. I mean, I'd say we could move the rain garden one, but that really doesn't make sense for February.
It's planning.
It's
you know.
planning,
planning.
yeah. I mean, we
planning.
could if
I'm getting
you'd be
seed
early. ready
catalogs
that
now.
early. I know, you get the
How
sea
about,
catalogs in January. so.
I don't like ice, something, maybe ice fishing or no, no, or
Pervious
wintertime
driveways.
rafters or something.
Would you like
I
me
don't know.
To
Throw some
do
ideas out
something
there.
with the pervious pavers, and I can have that article as part of the.
If you feel like
So,
taking that
okay.
on in your fun
Well, I
January
don't,
times.
but I will give it a
mean-
shot.
Edith, anything you offer, I'm always gonna say yes.
Okay,
I'm not gonna
I
ask,
will-
but
I
if you
will
wanna
do that.
offer,
I will do that.
heck yeah, sounds like a plan.
If
to
it rains
me.
tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, so. we'll
I'm
do
happy to plumb your brain for information
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, that would be a great resource.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know, I know.
I think Gary's also done some research on pavers.
Oh,
pervious
great.
pavers.
Okay, well, maybe we ought to enlist Gary to do it.
Gary, you do it, it's fine. If you're not here, you have to do everything.
Happy to help for sure.
Just-
Team effort.
So yeah, you two, if you're willing to
Okay.
figure that out, that'd be
Okay.
awesome. That would be, I think that'd be a good fit for February,
Okay.
actually, too,
Mhm.
generally.
Sounds good.
Okay, and then maybe can we put the rain gardens in March? And figure out the geothermal or something else later?
I can maybe do it for March.
If that's, I think that just gives us another month to have something to figure out for April, May
Right.
later. Do we want to figure out another topic for April? Or do we want to just wait and figure that out in February?
You have time if you
Okay.
want.
Yeah, okay,
Let's see, crop.
all right. town hall display at the winter snow activities. It's very cute.
It was
Thank you.
very
Rita.
nice.
Especially
Very
like the
nice.
snow volcano. If we ever get enough
Yeah, that
snow,
one looks like
I'm
fun.
gonna have to make a snow volcano.
Yeah.
And it greets Mike on his way into work
I love
every
it.
day. So it's great. Again, another opportunity to see what's hanging out in Edith's brain.
It's a great grandma.
Yes, I could tell that. So I'm kind of jealous of your grandkids right now. So, all right, so on to new business. If anybody want, we don't have like a privilege of the floor anywhere, but I hope everybody knows you're welcome to chat or bring something up at any time, but new business. So the ECB chair. So that's on there because our supervisor has asked for there not to be a town board facilitator for this so that we now have town board committees. There's 4 town board committees and they'd like to have a town board person chairing each one of those committees so that we aren't having 2 different things that we're chairing. They've asked to see if we can start finding an ECB chair from within the committee. So we don't have to figure that out now. I will hang out here for as long as I'm needed, but if anybody has any interest in chairing this committee, it would be very welcomed. I don't think it's as big of a time commitment as it was in the past because generally just Kimberly and Shauna and I chat about what should be on there and try and keep track of anything that that might have fallen through the cracks pretty much. But it's not, other than planning anything that floats our boat to do, like a random environmental fair. It's not an insane amount of work, I don't think so. So think about it. I don't know if anybody's interested right now or if you want to just think about it, but we are also going to be needing to bring in a new member because Megan unfortunately had to resign from the committee, not because she wasn't enjoying it. She's just got a lot of new stuff going on in her life that she wanted to devote some time to. So we are on the look for a new member. My question about that was, I was thinking maybe we could advertise that either in the town newsletter or, I don't know if it makes sense for Jean to put something out or what have you.
Yeah,
but-
Jean can do that.
Yeah.
We do that. I mean, for planning board, zoning board,
Okay.
absolutely.
What's
Do it
the,
in MailChimp too.
what's the stipend? Somebody asked me that today.
Oh,
Is it 6 something?
I
No, what you're
Was it
saying.
30,000?
I'd have to look at the budget.
Remember. I mean, I could look it up, but I just didn't know off the top of my head and they asked me.
It's not huge.
It's like 100.
I thought it was like 600 something a year.
It could be.
It's like, it was less than 1,000, I know that, so, but,
I think that sounds about right.
well, I'll figure out what the stipend was and we can put that in the, you can put that in there as well. For bringing on a new member, I'd like there to be like I'd really like to see that we have like actually a period where we say this is an open membership. We're accepting applications between this date and this date so that we have an opportunity to review if there's more than one that's interested in it. And the committee can discuss who they would feel would be the best fit for the committee, whenever that is. Do we have a time frame that anybody would like to suggest for that? I mean, I was thinking February would probably make sense, but.
Can we define somebody by February?
Well, just for we're accepting applications until X dates.
Until X day. Oh,
And
okay,
then
okay.
we can discuss it either, I mean, if we did it before our February meeting, which is really early,
Yeah.
then we
So
could
through
discuss it at February.
So through
Or we could
February.
have it like, Valentine's Day or something and then discuss it in March, but any thoughts from anybody? The February meeting, it's like the 2nd or 3rd or something. It's quite early in February.
Yeah, we've had a lot of early meetings.
Yeah,
I would say.
it's the 2nd is our meeting, so,
If we could discuss in March, that would give us some
yeah,
little extra
to
time.
review, yeah.
I
So,
mean, not to be a downer, but we generally don't have an overwhelming interest in any of our boards.
Yeah.
So.
I
we'll-
just would
guess
like
we'll see what
there,
happens.
from my perspective, I would just like there to be an official period so that people have an opportunity, if we get more than one person, that we aren't just grabbing whoever the first person is to come to us, so that we have an
Right.
opportunity to look at I wouldn't be surprised if we only get one, but I would like there to be an opportunity for a few people. I know the Parks Committee usually gets 4 or 5 when they have an opening, so.
When I applied, I waited 3 months before I heard anything, and I
Oh,
Oh,
was
my
invited
goodness.
for an interview. And I said, "What, you had a lot of applicants?" They said, "No, you were the only one."
well, I mean, obviously, yeah, if that's what, if we just get one, I mean, we could just have an official, like, okay, that sounds like a great person. you know,
Welcome,
so.
yes.
But I think it would be, so let's just have maybe, just, I don't want to do something totally arbitrary, but maybe like February 17th is a Friday. And then we'd have a couple weeks before the March meeting, which will also be on the 2nd of March. So that would give us a couple weeks to review if anything came in, and gives people basically a full month to think about it. So, all right, I will let, Shauna, you want to let Jean know that, or should I let?
Yeah, I will. I have a question. Do we want to add something in this month's newsletter? I mean, the deadline is in a few days.
Yes.
Why don't we do that in conjunction with the art article?
Yeah. Can you do
Okay.
that, Shauna? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like the deadline's tomorrow, but I'm not
Yeah.
creeping up. It's soon.
I think
Hopefully-
it's the 9th. I think it's Mondays.
Yeah, it is Monday. So it's very,
Hopefully, we could just do like, a bullet point with 2 stars on either end, there's an opening on the ECB committee. If interested, please submit resumes do you want to go to you, me, or or Kim? Or who send them to?
they can send them to me
Okay, by February 17th.
by February 17th, 2023. Got it.
Or even just a letter. I mean, do we need a resume and a cover letter? Can we just have a letter of interest, or what do we want?
That's up to the board.
Does anybody have a thought, preference, anything on that? Sometimes people don't have like a resume ready to go, is the only reason why I was, if
Right.
they're just
What
retired.
if
or
they
something
talk
like that.
about their experience in a letter?
Yeah, a letter and.
Yeah,
So just a letter of interest?
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
would say. So they
Okay.
don't feel like they have to like spend 3 hours updating a resume. So, okay. All right, great. Training, that was, we were gonna talk about, do we want to do that tonight? Do we want to push it again, Shauna?
You
We
were,
pushed
you
that.
wanted
many
to just
times-
talk about it, not actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
let's just keep talking about it until I'm not part of the committee
All
anymore.
right, so here's one thing that we can talk about is we did wanna, I think it makes sense if we create an encore training that's open to both people who work with the town and on our committees, but also to the general public. So I think that one, who's the person we would reach out to do that?
Well, I know that Sherry Norton would come and do a training. I mean,
That's
she
right.
was willing to come to the.
She said that
environment.
last year, yeah.
Yeah,
So how
so,
do we make that happen?
well, when do we want to do it? Is the question.
Before it gets warm enough to swim in the lake. That would be my suggestion. I mean, I would say February, March, April, when people have a little bit more time would be my thought, but.
Are you thinking something at an evening kind of training or or just for you guys?
I mean, I think our staff is well aware of everything, so.
We
that
are.
works. So
Yeah.
this would be something for public and committees. So I would say, if there's an evening when we're not filled up with committees already,
Okay,
that would be my suggestion.
all right.
Definitely Zoom.
And then, yeah,
Zoom
add the
is
Zoom
available.
option. Mhm.
And I think if we could book the, what is it? Oticiana, what's the town board room? That's. I think
Oh,
it's called.
yeah,
That would be.
I call it the
Linda,
courtroom.
The courtroom. If we can
Yeah.
do it on Linda, that would be good, because then we could maybe set up, if we could set up some actual computers to work on, that would be cool. I don't know how we would do that, but it would be nice if people had, or, I mean, we can encourage people to bring their own laptops.
We could have them bring their own and hop on our Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Our extremely unknown Wi-Fi that no one knows what the passwords are.
The password, thank God I don't have to put that password in because I can never get it.
Okay, all right, so that brings us down to our annual report. that we need to submit probably by the end of this month. Did everybody get a chance to check this out? Shauna, do you want to go through anything on this or any changes that we made?
I mean, I did make some changes for our conversation, Adeline. I did, like I told you today, I left some blanks. I left some, hey, what do I do here kind of things. I did want to put something about the easement team, Eric. I reached out to Sarah and she said, hey, Eric would probably want to do that. I mean, obviously it's not our effort, but we have members on that committee and it's very important to the town. So I think it's noteworthy and we should mention that it happened, you know, it came to fruition this year. I did not put anything about the fair other than let's put something about the fair. I didn't summarize it at all. So that's basically, and then I did go through all of our agendas and looked at what we reviewed and added that in. It was up, I think 4 from last year. So pretty standard, pretty on target. Yeah, so, you know, it is what it is. I think we should make the changes and then, yeah, submit it to the board for the end of the month meeting.
I can write a section on the environmental fair if you'd like. Unless you were started on something, but I'm happy to.
No, I thought maybe somebody else would take that lead.
Yeah, I can grab that. I also had this note for the open space preservation. I don't know, in our previous iteration of this, it had talked about recommendations that the committee had, or that the board had made that did or did not go through. I don't know if we wanted to indicate that we had recommended RSM and it was voted down.
Does it really matter at this point?
We touch on climate change in our discussions and reviews, and I wondered about another strategy to encourage smart climate development and
Yes.
climate change mitigation efforts as appropriate, local climate change mitigation efforts as appropriate.
I think putting in a sentence that we'll be exploring that this year would be a good idea because that would tie in with the geothermal and the environmental fair. We can address it there as well. So it looks like the town board is probably going to be eliminating we have officially an environmental committee in the town, but it's been defunct for many years. There's no members and it's been completely inactive and basically everything that it would have done would be kind of coming here. So I think it would behoove the ECB to dip their toes occasionally into the water of generalized environmental recommendations rather than just the reviews of the PRC projects. So.
Yes. They did that for quite some time. I mean, we spent time on dark skies and scenic views on all kinds of things.
Well, I think the important,
how old I am.
well, no, I think the important things for us to do, I mean, like John had mentioned earlier, you know, I didn't really get this before, but we need to tie official recommendations back to ordinance, right? That connection is important. And that's where if there's something where it makes sense, like you were saying with the pervious pavement, if there's something that makes sense to have in an official town policy or in a code change, I think we need to actually specifically, not only does the ordinance committee have an opportunity to send referrals to us, but I think we should send something official back to ordinance instead of hoping that it filters there, you know, so that would be my suggestion with that. Any of those efforts that we make to actually send a letter to either ordinance or the town board indicating that. So.
I had a question.
Mhm.
So the comp plan has measurables under its natural
Yes.
resources.
We did go through those. Remember, we did actually. Should we mention that too?
Well, I was going to say, where do these get mentioned and measured if it's not our report?
Yeah. I mean, it's in our minutes from that meeting when, what was that, July or something that we went, June, July, somewhere in there.
I don't think we really talked about you know, what the measurable really was or meant. And I don't know if we could really.
I went through,
dig
it was more
down
the
to those.
priorities and the measurables, I think, that we were going through at that point, so, but. For the NRI, the natural resources section, you're saying?
This is the comp plan.
Yeah. mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we went more through. What's the section? The biggest priorities. Yes,
So, like-
these, we went
like
through
those.
these. And there were ECBs mentioned as a primary or secondary in more areas than just the natural resource section too. so,
Yes, they are.
but-
But I just, they had measurables here, and so that's how you would know whether
Okay.
you met your goal or not,
That's a good point.
so. Some of them, I don't know how we would really measure like diversity of flora and fauna. I mean, some of them are beyond us to measure, I think.
Yes, well, the only place we really could measure it would be on town property,
Mhm.
parks, the cemeteries, the town grounds,
Mhm.
where we could address that.
Yeah,
Well, we could also indicate, we're recommending, on plans, we're recommending native species and. things like that.
Right,
Yeah.
that would be important too.
Mhm.
Because that would also, we do a lot of that. That would be numbers.
Yeah,
Was that the meeting we went through the national or the inventory? The National Natural Resources Inventory, the booklet that you handed out?
The NRI, yeah.
I think that was that was later in the year, I think.
Okay.
This was maybe before we were supposed to talk to CIC.
I don't remember when it was. I feel like it was summer.
It was summer.
I want to say it was July or August.
Yeah.
In both
Yeah.
meetings, that came up, that the sticky point of how do you
Mhm.
quantify
Yeah.
Yeah.
these different,
Yeah.
these different categories are also very different.
But
I
maybe-
think Kim has a good point, and Mike and I have been talking about the importance of a comp plan, and I think sometimes we get away from the fact that we have that, and it's so all encompassing, and it really, our natural resources are a huge part of it.
Mhm.
So bringing that back to the committee is not a bad idea.
Specifically looking at what's measurable.
Right, and I mean, it does, it spells out the measurable, it spells out action items, and I mean, it's very detailed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's got 8 measurables for the
Mhm.
natural resources.
Right,
I assume you told Mike that his predecessor was the one who put together the whole comp plan.
I don't think I did, but it's quite an effort.
So now you have to memorize it for next week. It's what, 120? Okay, great.
If you want, I can take a swag at maybe writing a little bit with some of these.
It would be helpful because I don't actually have access to as many of the files in the M drive, and I have no access to Word here either, so that would be helpful. But I will take a peek at it too, and maybe you and I can meet at some point, Kim, really, that might make sense, so.
Okay.
Yeah, let's connect on that. Okay,
Adeline, since Mike is gonna be taking over, I think you should include him as well.
oh, we gotta bring Mike in on that?
Mhm. Yep,
Mike, you're gonna bring Italian food, right? Great. All right, we'll figure that out. Okay, so back to my question about RSM, did you not want to include something? Do we want to include something? I didn't know if we got a conclusive answer on that.
I don't think it's bad to include it. I mean, it was work we did.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it
Okay.
would be good to say,
Yeah, I can just indicate that we
you explored it.
forwarded a recommendation to the
yeah.
town board and a letter of support for that one. That was voted, okay. And I'll write the environmental fair thing. What else is on here that I'm missing? Oh, and you're gonna do the locations on the trees, Shauna?
My question was, where were they? I couldn't remember. Where'd we plant them?
Some were at Schoolhouse, and I
Yeah.
think was Nanda too, wasn't it?
Was there one at Schoolhouse and one at Ononda?
I think so, yeah. That Dennis Brewer would know for sure, I would think, and if not
Yeah,
Dennis,
Dennis will know.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
so.
Lindsay, yeah, okay. I'll verify and I'll add them.
And then,
there were trees planted at Alcasa too.
Yeah.
There were this year.
and I tried to catch Lindsay before she left, but I was too late today. They did purchase something from to use up the rest of our funds,
Oh, good.
which I think was only actually like $250 after the environmental
Okay.
fair. And I had Lindsay just work with the tree team to figure out what made the most sense, but they purchased a credit essentially for something that they'll plant in the spring, because they weren't planting something now, but I can get more information from her on what they decided to do, so.
Don't see the current rules and procedures in the M drive, so, but I'll bring
For
up the
us.
one from last year.
It might actually be on the website.
Maybe, yeah.
It's on the website. Try that. Oddly.
What were you, I didn't hear what you were looking for.
Policies and procedures is the next thing.
Oh, okay.
Business.
I don't know where that is.
I have to head out in about 5 minutes. Sorry, everybody.
No,
Didn't someone send, didn't somebody send
I
us?
thought Kim
Did
sent
you
you
that.
guys send it?
Yeah,
I
you did.
thought thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Did I not print that up? I know I saw it. Yeah, it was with the
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
the schedule for tonight.
There we go. All right. Is there anything anybody wanted changed for that? I think our only big change last year was adding in Zoom and allowing people to join the meeting via Zoom. I think that was our only change last year, if I'm remembering.
Yes, I think it was.
Hang on, go back to the trading credits. We've been as 12.
That's for a new
First-
member.
Oh, for the
First
new.
year.
Oh, okay, because I
And
thought
then
we were.
after that, it's 4.
Oh, it's 4.
And I think we have to like approve the secretary and approve our
Mhm.
schedule of meetings.
Everybody like the meeting order? Is there anything else in there that's? Oh, we forgot to approve the minutes, by the way. Let's do that now, since I see it on there.
Sounds
Did
good.
everybody get a chance to read the minutes from last month's meeting? Any changes or suggestions? All in favor of approving the minutes from last month's meeting? Okay, there you go. Just for you, Kimberly. Glad we saw that.
Um,
Four, okay, so 4 is our quorum, and that is whether or not someone's missing, so it's, and I believe it's also whether or not we don't have a full committee too. I don't think that necessarily changes. It's based on the size of the committee, not on the number of members we have, so.
So I have a question. We have Leaf as a board member. Is he?
I
a
saw
board
that,
member?
yeah,
Or is
I
he not? I mean,
don't know,
I don't know that he
he's never
is.
been to one of the meetings since
maybe
I've
he
been
doesn't know
here.
he's a board member.
I
No, I
think
think he does.
he does, I
yeah.
brought it up to him at one point, but
Maybe he's just not able.
now.
yeah, they do meet now,
They
so,
have a different meeting.
yeah,
With conflict maybe, huh?
well,
Just wondering.
I don't know, it's worth exploring with Leaf though, on
Mhm.
that and seeing, I'll ask Leaf about that, so.
I know he came to a few when Jared was the facilitator,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
but he hasn't been to any
No.
since
What
then.
does that say about me? No, I'm just kidding.
Does that
Okay.
mean you potentially need 2 new members?
Well, potentially, depending on what he says, so, but he
Just
hasn't,
Keep that in mind. that's all.
yeah, he hasn't been here, like I said, in 2022, so.
So are we only supposed to have 7? Was that what was decided upon?
What does it say in the,
7, I'm sorry.
does it say how many members in there?
How many members we were supposed to have? Or up to how many?
It's probably in that section where it was talking about. I should know these better. I apologize.
Where was that section?
It was further down. Keep going, keep going, keep going. The section where it's talking about the quorums, it's down here. After the order of business, right in here. I think it's in there. Go up a little.
There's the quorum.
Yeah. Motion to remove those. Gosh, I don't know if it doesn't actually say. That's odd. I'll find out.
And then the remote attendance policy, what we added last year matched what the planning board had put in place. So we didn't do anything different than they did, so.
Okay.
So we're ready for the next epidemic.
Mhm.
There you go.
What? Oh,
It is handy.
Yes.
That Zoom is awful.
It is. I mean, it is.
Or when the weather's really terrible.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna say 7 because it's indicating 4 is a quorum, so,
Yeah.
and that's including leaf, that's 7 now, so.
There was a whole update to the
Although
membership
We don't have
for,
Megan's name
that's so
there
that
any-
Megan would
any
have been 8.
longer, So. Yeah.
there was a whole update to the ECB membership that Jared had
Yeah.
worked on. And I don't know where that stands.
I think it was passed and I believe it was 8, but let me verify that tomorrow.
Oh, you've got that, okay, thank you.
Because I know what Jared had originally put together was you could allow junior members
Mhm.
for a shorter period of time, and that, I think they had to be at least 16 years old. So he was, and the rest of us were looking for some younger input.
Mhm.
Um,
It's definitely an area to get people to wet their
Yeah,
whistle with
Yeah.
town government too. So,
so,
okay, I will ask where that got to and what that officially is, because that would be an important thing to reach out. If we do have that already available to have junior members, that'd be important to reach out.
because that would be nice for high school or college students.
Oh, yeah. I have to scoot. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna let Shauna, do you mind taking care of the rest of I think we're pretty almost tying up at this point, but do you mind running the rest of the meeting for me at all?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we're.
Thank you.
where we
We're,
at?
yeah, we're down,
much
we're done
done.
with new business and on to member requests.
I
here
think
pretty
we need
much,
to
so.
vote on this.
Yes, you do. So,
So
but I'm not a member, so I'm gonna. Thank you, guys. Sorry to ditch you.
Thank you, Adeline.
Thank you. Glad you're fine.
Yeah, so the members need to vote on the policies and procedures, and with the additions or clarifications, I guess, which we'll take care of tomorrow, if the board's comfortable with that, just the actual number. And then if there are junior members, we can add that in. So board want to vote on that?
Yes, I move to approve.
Second.
And we said hi. Hi.
Aye.
Kim.
Hi.
I,
Aye.
Great. Well, if there's, I mean, the training opportunities are always very similar. And the next meeting is February 2nd.
Yes.
Shauna, we should, or I should at least mention, the open space protection policy and the good work that Sarah's done.
Yeah, you're gonna add that to our report.
Yeah, should I at least introduce it briefly here? And
Yeah.
it should really be an agenda item for the next meeting. I'm talking with Sarah, about coming in and presenting, and the reason I'm doing that is at the last open space policy meeting, the committee meeting, and Kim, you were there. The thinking was that the ECB should co-sponsor this policy proposal to the board. that we should really work in tandem, since a number of us are already on that as well. And that in preserving open space, open land is one of our ECB goals. It seems to be a natural fit. I did ask Sarah if I could, whether it be appropriate to forward the draft, the latest iteration of the draft policy to all ECB members. I haven't heard back, but I want to get her okay, Shauna, before I do that.
Mhm.
A little bit of homework to read over and get a sense of what the committee is trying to do. I know Sarah has worked really hard at this policy proposal. And I think it's a great idea. There was such a committee in 2017 to 2018, and it went by the wayside, but now it's back.
Yes, they started, and I think COVID kind of derailed things a little bit.
And so we have a precedent to build on. We have a lot of good energy, a lot of enthusiasm. It gets a bit technical as to, again, how to identify land, how to reach landowners, how to educate, inform, the different funding provisions, the opportunities out there. Working with trusts, existing organizations like the Finger Lakes Land Trust. But it's something that Sarah is absolutely passionate about and very knowledgeable about. So could we ask her to come in and give a presentation into the February meetings? I think my notes here say that she'd like to get this policy proposal to the board in March, April at the latest, but probably March.
So February 2nd would be ideal then.
Yeah,
It would.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Sean, I'll ask her again.
You want to reach out to her?
Yeah, I'll ask her if it'd be appropriate this time to forward the CB members the latest and greatest version of the draft. If she's comfortable with that.
Great, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay. It would be much more efficient to do that than have me kind of explain what's in this.
It would be like the
All right.
time would line up nicely too.
Yeah.
Mhm. If there is nothing else, you are welcome to adjourn. That's your call at almost 6.
Let's adjourn.
I made that motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.